To the I-Team now. The state Supreme Court has suspended a once prominent attorney in Covington from practicing law. David Ozburn also faces a criminal indictment in Newton County where he's accused of mortgage fraud.
For years, Ozburn held an office on the Covington Square and took on clients who trusted him. Fox 5 I-Team reporter Johnny Edwards spoke with a husband and wife who hired Ozburn for a personal injury case in Johnny. They claim this attorney left them devastated, and they say they have him on tape admitting what he did.
Well, Russ and Courtney, Ozburn faces at least 3 bar complaints that we know of, one of them by Darren Hilly. Hilly and his wife claim Ozburn tanked their case. They later confronted him in his office and secretly recorded everything.
I know I failed y'all. I know you put your trust in me, and I completely failed you.
You just don't even know.
Covington lawyer David Ozburn has big problems.
I'm sorry.
Trouble is, he's made his problems his clients' problems.
And I'm just very skeptical now about attorneys in general.
Ozburn still has a sign on the Covington Square and a website, but for now, he's not allowed to represent clients. Last month, the Georgia Supreme Court placed Ozburn on interim suspension as part of a disciplinary process with the State Bar of Georgia that could have him reprimanded, suspended, or possibly disbarred. We know of at least 3 bar complaints, one from Darren Hilly.
The strain of the financial and emotional burden of this has just been almost more than we could bear.
Darren, once a heavy equipment operator, in 2015 injured in an industrial accident. He says the cab of this loader came detached moving a log.
And that's when it fell back down, metal on metal, and it threw me back into the seat. And that's when I destroyed one of the discs in my back.
With Darren out of work, the Hillys decided to sue the equipment company. They turned to David Ozburn, who was once Jasper County's county attorney.
What was he telling you about the case?
He told me the case was slam dunk.
The Hillys alleged that for years, Ozburn strung them along, doing little if any work. Then Daphne called Hall County courts, learning the case had been dismissed by Ozburn 4 years earlier.
I could not believe what he had done to my husband.
Their calls unreturned, they dropped in at his office, Daphne recording with her phone.
We trusted you.
Yeah, because it got harder and harder to tell all the truth.
He told them he had split up with his wife.
If you couldn't handle it, why didn't you just tell us so we could go somewhere else?
Well, and I thought I could, and I'd handled things like that before.
Court records show Ozburn dismissed the case after failing to answer requests for records from the opposing side, paying a penalty. Then a judge dismissed the case with prejudice. So the Hillys can't bring it back up, ever.
I wish I could fix it. I mean, if I had the $50,000 in the bank to my name, I would write you a check for it. But it's not there.
There are other clients in Ozburn's wake who feel ripped off. Lynn and Philip Harrington say he owes them money too.
He owes me the money that I paid him for that title insurance that he didn't get.
The Harringtons among the victims listed in Ozburn's criminal indictment out of Newton County for racketeering, forgery, theft, alleging mortgage fraud dating back to 2019. He was their closing attorney when they bought this home 5 years ago.
So I guess I thought, everything was supposed to be on the up and up.
According to the indictment, Ozburn falsely claimed to sell title insurance, protecting home buyers in case disputes arise about who owns property. He has pleaded not guilty. The Harringtons paid Ozburn more than $1,800 in title insurance and closing fees. Total allegedly stolen from borrowers and sellers across dozens of closings, $72,000.
He is an attorney. Why are you doing this? He just took money from people.
We tried to ask Ozburn about all this, but he didn't respond to our messages, and his attorney declined comment. Ozburn didn't respond to the state bar either, and according to records, that's why the Georgia Supreme Court suspended him.
I feel like he doesn't need to practice legal matters anymore. He doesn't need to have a license to practice as an attorney in the state of Georgia or the United States for that matter.
As for those other bar complaints, we found one involves the alleged title insurance scheme. Another is by a woman who hired Ozburn to help her get guardianship of her grandchildren. The bar is alleging after she paid him $1,000, Ozburn didn't do any work and ignored her when she tried to reach him. She told us Ozburn eventually gave her money back and she found another attorney. And Russ and Courtney, we can't tell from state records which complaint specifically led to this interim suspension.
I don't know if there's any reasoning that he could have given these clients, especially the Hillies, that would make them feel any better about what happened, but at least maybe in the future other clients might not end up in a situation like that. Do we know when he'll find out about the bar complaints?
We don't know yet. It's a process. Now, if he were to file some kind of complaint or some kind of response to the bar, he could get that interim suspension lifted, and then he would have a hearing and then face some kind of discipline. Now, if he never responds, he'll stay suspended, probably have a hearing still, and I'm told he would have a pretty good chance of getting disbarred.
I mean, you would think 4 years before the case was dismissed with prejudice, and he didn't tell them.
Right.
I mean, that's just outrageous.
Yeah.
Well, you'd think they might have been keeping up with it, but as they said, he was stringing them along, telling them he was doing things according to them, having him sign papers, so
You got to be able to trust your attorney to tell you the truth.
absolutely.
Bizarre. All right, Johnny, thanks.
Thank you.
The